I had been everyone's assumed childhood sweetheart and fiancé to Ava, but she humiliated me in every way and coldly dismissed me. I moved far away to let go of that obsession. And in college I met Anna, who looked at me with nothing but love in her eyes, gentle and awkward in the way she cared for me. Later Ava came back to pester me, wanted me to return to her, so I went public with Anna in front of everyone. The person who truly valued me and taught me how to love was never the proud Ava. It was always Anna with her gentle heart. To prove she didn't have any feelings for me, Ava wore the bag I had given her and the necklace I had put around her neck with my own hands in front of everyone. She lashed out at me, insisting I had no right to think of her that way at all. She even went after both our parents, saying they were taking my side and being unfair afterwards that year when I came home for New Year's. The corner of my mouth was split open. She made a snide comment in front of everyone. "Did a dog bite you again?" Beneath all those amused stares, I spelled it out for her slowly, "No." That was my girlfriend. Her face went dark instantly. Just before the new year, my mom called ahead to tell me to get home early for the holiday, but I still ended up dragging my feet and didn't get home until evening. I pushed the door open, and there sat Ava with her mom and dad waiting in the living room. She narrowed those almond eyes of hers and gave me a once over her eyes carrying a trace of contempt. "James," she said, "another dog bite? When I was 5, I had to go mess with a puppy and got myself bitten, needed 3 rabies shots in a row. Ava was the one who grudgingly went with me for those shots after that. She never missed an opportunity to ridicule me about it." Everyone broke out laughing again. I instinctively touched the corner of my mouth and realized the cut had already formed a scab, making it stand out even more right in the middle of their laughing. I said, "No, my girlfriend did it this morning." The laughter cut off. The air went completely still. Only Ava's face turned white. Because we had been promised to each other since we were kids, the heavy silence stretched on until Ava's mother, Auntie Sarah, finally spoke. "So, James, you're seeing someone now?" I answered politely, "Yes, she goes to my school," noticing Ava's eyes go wide. I added she couldn't make it this time, but after the holiday, I'll bring her home to introduce to all of you. No sooner had I said that Ava's face went bright red, and she yelled like I care about eating with any of you. Then she stormed off toward the balcony like she was about to throw a chair, leaving her mom to shoot me a worried glance first, then hurry outside to talk her down. I shrugged and let the discomfort hang in. The air then dragged my luggage to my bedroom. The shouting from the balcony drifted through in fragments. Auntie Sarah's voice rose above the racket. "First, you were the one who said you don't like James now, that he's got a girlfriend. Why are you acting this way?" When she finished, the other side went quiet for a long moment. Finally, Ava muttered back, "I just won't have it." I laughed softly to myself inside. 3 years ago, at a family reunion, Auntie Sarah had jokingly called me her future son-in-law, and Ava completely lost it right there, said her mother's joke wasn't the least bit funny, and declared without any hesitation that she had no feelings for me whatsoever. Then she unloaded all her fury on me, told me to keep my distance and not to let myself think anything inappropriate about her. Her father smacked her right then and there, but Ava put the blame for all of it on me after that. Things between us completely fell apart. When it came time to choose a college, I went ahead and applied to a school out in the Southwest, as far from her city as I could possibly get. I thought we would just be civil acquaintances from then on. But now, what is Ava even playing at? When I came back out in more comfortable clothes, Ava was already seated at the table. Her mother must have finally calmed her down. The rage on her face had softened compared to earlier, as we ate everyone intentionally. Steered clear of what had happened before, just asked about how things were going at school. The mood was just starting to relax when my phone buzzed. I glanced at the screen, and the corner of my mouth curled up without meaning to Auntie Sarah. "I'll just take this, you all keep eating," I said, and stepped outside. It was my girlfriend, Anna. Her voice was gentle as she asked if I'd had dinner. I decided to mess with her a little. "You went pretty hard with that bite. You split my lip open." I didn't even have time to react. Anna let out a little huff on the other end and muttered under her breath, "I meant to do it." I was about to answer back when suddenly there was a huge crash behind me. I looked back, and it was Ava, her face bright red. Voice annoyed, "Are you eating or not? Because I'm about to clear the table." Anna heard her and asked, "You haven't had dinner yet. Should I order you some fried chicken for later?" Ava caught Anna's voice and bit her lip, her voice gone tight, as she asked, "Who's that?" I looked her in the eye and said it slowly. "My girlfriend." The silence held for a few seconds. Then Anna said, quietly, I'll call you back tonight. Okay. I said and hung up. I stood in the hallway. An awkward silence settled between Ava and me. She stared at my lip for a long moment before asking for you to be kissing like that. How long have you been together? I turned my phone off and answered offhandedly, nearly a year. She frowned and pressed on, then why have you never mentioned this to me? That's when it hit me. She was probably talking about how I never posted anything on Facebook after we had our falling out. I hadn't removed her, but we barely spoke at all. I never posted much to begin with. I'd never even changed my profile picture, let alone post any pictures of Anna and me together. I said offhandedly, just forgot to post, and shoved my phone back into my pocket. Ava gave a quiet laugh, almost like she was relieved. Guess you don't really care about her that much, what? I blinked, caught off guard. How do you figure? She shrugged. If you truly cared about her, you would have said something. I shook my head. No, I really do love her. I held her gaze, wanting her to see I wasn't kidding around. Ava looked back at me, and something unreadable flitted across her face, almost like panic. I didn't want to keep circling the same subject, so I turned to head back inside. When I passed by her, I caught her murmur, barely above a whisper, you got over it so quickly 3 years earlier. After Ava tore into me in front of her mom and dad like that, it really got to me, but only for a little while. Because we had been close since we were kids, almost attached at the hip. Sometimes she would even act flirty with me in high school. When romance novels were all the rage at school, everyone would joke about us, calling us the picture-perfect childhood sweetheart couple. Ava never once turned down my little attempts to show I cared. She would even come ask me for a present on Valentine's Day. So I thought she felt something for me too. Then that night at the reunion, she threw me under the bus in front of all our relatives. The next day, my lab partner told me Ava had started going out with Ethan. That's right, the same guy who from day one had been openly crushing on her. The class pretty boy at the senior prom. Ethan had even confessed to her in front of everyone, made a whole big declaration. The teachers were there too. She didn't say yes or no then. But the very next day, after she publicly shamed me, they officially became a couple. I opened iMessage and saw right away the post Ethan put up on Facebook announcing in the picture he and Ava were pressed close together, looking way too cozy. All my close friends already knew about the whole almost something between Ava and me, all messaged me asking what the hell had happened between us. The good thing was I never cared much about posting that kind of stuff on Facebook, or I would have had to explain myself to every single person that day. I put on a smile like I couldn't care less, flipped my phone over on the desk, and silently decided right then to cut Ava out of my life for good. I didn't have time to wallow in it anyway. I had told Ava once that we would stay in a city by the ocean together, but when it came to picking a school, I was the first to go back on my word. I applied to a school way out in the Southwest. That summer vacation, my mom and dad pushed me to get my license. So I did. I also learned how to swim and traveled to a bunch of different cities by myself, kept myself completely busy, and all the leftover feelings naturally got buried. My mom told me that Uncle Michael had brought Ava by the house a bunch of times, but I was either traveling or stuck in extra classes, so we never connected until just a few days before the semester began. I was at home helping my mom sort through some stuff, and finally saw Ava again. Uncle Michael looked at me and said, wow, you got tan? I nodded and told him I'd been out and about a lot recently. Ava didn't say anything, just stole a look at me every now, and then she was uncharacteristically quiet. Right before she left, she stopped, turned around, and looked at me for a while that night. Right before I fell asleep, I was scrolling through Facebook and saw a new post from Ethan. He wrote, sometimes even childhood sweethearts lose to fate. The one you can't have is always out of reach. Someone commented asking what happened. Ethan answered with just 2 words. We split right then. I understood why Ava had seemed so down that afternoon. She and Ethan had already gone their separate ways, but that line of his childhood sweethearts lose to fate still threw me off a little, because from what I knew, Ava had never had any other childhood sweetheart besides me. Other than me, the old me might have gone running to her to get the whole story, but after that summer was over, I had already accepted that Ava, and I could never be more than friends at best. I couldn't let her get to me anymore. On the day school started, I shut my phone off before I got on the plane and missed the final message she sent me. Why did you pick C-State College? Got busy fast. I added a second major. Even my weekends were completely full. Then one day, Ava texted me, and I noticed I hadn't thought about her in ages. She asked me to help her buy some stuff on Temu. I told her, sorry, I don't have that app. A long while later, she answered, forget it. I had zero interest in making small talk with her, so I set my phone down and went right back to my assignments by the time the library shut down for the night. I noticed she had sent another message 5 hours before when do you get out for summer. I left her on read. I pulled myself back to the present Ava's words. You got over it so quickly. Ran through my head again. A weird idea popped into my head, but I shot it down right away. I acted like I didn't catch what she was really saying and headed to my room. Throwing over my shoulder, I have no idea what you mean. When I got back to campus, Anna came all the way to the station to meet me the moment she saw me. She looped her arm through mine. You have to be exhausted. Let's go get a nice meal. On the walk over, I could tell something was wrong with her face, so I asked her what happened. She paused for a few seconds, then said, about how I bit your lip the other day. That was really out of line. It's just... She looked down. I was feeling really insecure back. Then we had talked before about our past relationships, and I had been honest and told her I used to like Ava. She said it didn't matter at the time, but I could see the worry hiding in her eyes, the same look as now, a little hurt and a little lost. I held her hand and said softly, it's all right. I never held it against you. The first time Anna and I met was kind of a funny story. The library closed early that day for holiday. I was carrying a huge pile of books back to my dorm when a little dog burst out of the bushes, locked eyes with me, and then ran straight over to nuzzle my leg. I squatted down and scratched its neck, and it wouldn't budge from the collar around its neck. I knew it wasn't a stray, so I found a spot on the curb and sat down to wait for its owner to show up. A little later, the dog started batting at me with its paw and then curled up right in my lap and passed out. A couple more minutes went by, and a girl came running up, completely out of breath when she saw me holding the dog. She stopped short, then clasped her hands together and kept thanking me and saying sorry. It was her dog to thank me. She asked for my... That girl was Anna when we first got to know each other. Anna was a freshman, a year behind me. She came by the library all the time. One day, she would bring me lunch to say thanks. The next day, she'd ask me to help her with her general ed assignments. Little by little, she just naturally became part of my routine. Even my roommates couldn't stop praising her. It didn't take long for me to get used to her being there. I had a pretty good idea what she was thinking, but when I remembered the whole disaster with Ava, I could never quite bring myself to make a move. For all I knew, she might turn around one day and tell me that I had imagined the whole thing exactly like Ava did. Then one day, Anna brought me a bento box. She had made herself. I got distracted. My hand slipped, and the box hit the floor. Right at that moment, I thought back to all those mornings before when I used to bring Ava breakfast, and she wouldn't even thank me. One time, I accidentally spilled a bit of the congee. She went off right there. Nothing I said made a difference, and in the end, she threw the entire breakfast in the trash right in front of me. So I instinctively checked Anna's face. She hesitated for a second, then crouched down and silently wiped up the mess with some napkins. I got down to help her, feeling awful about it. I'm so sorry. I wasted something you worked so hard on. Anna shook her head and smiled gently at me. Who hasn't dropped something before? Ava used to love throwing those dating cliches at me, saying if you really care about a girl, you have to put up with all her bad behavior, no matter how crazy she gets. You just have to deal with it the second. I pushed back. She told me I didn't deserve a girlfriend, and here was Anna, the one who said it was fine before I could even apologize. She wasn't mad at all. I had to ask, "You're not upset?" Anna looked puzzled, and then burst out laughing. "It's not like you meant to drop it. Worst case, I make you another one and call it practice." Exactly. Understanding has to work both ways. So does patience. But some people never get that those few words from Anna were like a spring breeze that slowly thawed the ice inside me. One day in the library, she was sitting across from me and suddenly handed me a small piece of paper. It said, "Hey, upperclassman, will you be my boyfriend if you turn me down? I'll cry right here." And she signed it with a doodle of a chubby little puppy with big teary eyes. I couldn't stop smiling when I saw it. That was when it really hit me. I had finally moved on for good. A girl this sweet, how could anyone want to see her cry? So I wrote on the back, "Then you have to promise me you won't cry." Girlfriend Anna wasn't the kind of girl who just sat around waiting for presents. When a holiday came around, we would talk beforehand about getting each other small surprises. She never liked playing those coy, mysterious games. Either we were usually pretty open about gifts. I planned a whole trip for her. Once she bought me every skin in a game. One long weekend in October, we took a trip to a little beach town together. Anna took a great picture of me on the beach with her Polaroid and slipped it right in her phone case. Those 3 days and 2 nights, we felt like partners and like the closest of friends. We just kept playing and laughing the whole time. But on the trip home, someone came out of nowhere. and almost ruined it all, smashed that joy to bits. We were walking back to campus holding hands when my roommate called. "James, your sister is here for you. She's waiting for you downstairs." I was confused. Which sister? Beats me. She's gorgeous, though. A bunch of guys are already asking for her handle. I rushed back to the bottom of my dorm building and spotted her immediately in the crowd. Ava, she saw me too and started to wave, but then she caught sight of Anna and me with our hands locked together, and her eyes welled up instantly. Ava offered to take Anna and me to the cafe downstairs the moment we sat down. She asked, "And this is?" I told her, "This is my girlfriend, Anna," and then introduced Ava as the neighbor girl I'd grown up with. Ava's face paled right away. Anna leaned toward me with her coffee and said with a smile, "Oh, so you're the sharp-eyed little Annie?" The second the words "little Annie" came out, Ava bit her lip and was too mad to even respond. Picking up on the tension, Anna got up and said, "I ordered a couple of slices of cake over there. I'll go get them." After she walked away, I rubbed my temples and watched the foam on my coffee spin in circles. "When did you switch to coffee?" She broke the silence. Ava asked, "First, in school, my mom always brewed tea for us. I never had to use coffee to stay alert," I told her. "When I was studying for finals, I was so exhausted I switched to coffee. I thought you'd stick with tea forever." She said, her voice had an edge I couldn't quite place. I swirled my coffee and answered offhand, "People change," then raised my eyes and asked, "So why are you here?" Her voice went stiff as your childhood sweetheart. "I'm here to see if your girlfriend is good enough for you." She put extra weight on the words childhood sweetheart, and it came out sounding bitter. While Ava and I sat there, not talking, Anna returned with the cake. She opened the box and said to Ava like it was nothing, "The cheesecake here with the coffee. James and I are obsessed," and slid the cake toward both of us like she was presenting a prized possession. Ava shot her a look. Clearly irritated, Anna caught the hostility and moved closer to my side. Letting her head rest on my shoulder, she muttered softly, but loud enough for Ava to hear, "Why does it feel like this little Annie doesn't like me?" Ava's face got even darker. I reached over and tousled Anna's hair to calm her down. "Don't worry about it." Under Ava's burning glare, I took Anna's hand and said, "We're supposed to go to the library in a bit. Thanks for the coffee." "Ava," I took a 50 out of my wallet and left it on the table. Without looking back, I walked Anna out. On our way back, I kept replaying all Anna's strange little moves from earlier. Usually she was so sweet and gentle, nice to everyone. She almost never tried to make anyone uncomfortable on purpose. But today it was like she saw an opening, and every little thing she did was calculated to get under Ava's skin. I had a growing suspicion she must have already figured out who Ava really was. Sure enough, Anna looped her arm through mine and said, "She's the girl you used to have a crush on, isn't she?" I nodded. "Yeah, that's her. But that's over now." Anna kept her grip tight on my arm and said softly, "I trust you," but in her eyes there was still some worry she couldn't hide. I thought that would be the last I saw of Ava, but I didn't expect that the very next day Anna's roommate called me out of nowhere. Her voice was trembling. "James, get to the hospital fast. Anna was in an accident." I raced over there only to find Anna sitting on a bench in the corridor, her eyes all red. And Ava was sitting at the other side. As soon as she saw me, Anna threw herself into my arms, just about to speak. Ava cut her off. "James." I saw her with my own eyes wrapped around some other guy grinning like crazy. She raised her phone to show me in the picture. Anna had her arm linked with some guys. They were standing close together, laughing about something. Ava said smugly, "I told you, she's not the one for you." And she kept glancing at me with this self-satisfied look. I stopped her. "That's Anna's cousin. I know who he is." Ava hesitated, obviously caught off guard. Then she scoffed, "You don't have to cover for her. Your judgment has never been great anyway." I answered her calmly, "This isn't about making excuses." Anna introduced me to her whole family. When we started dating, I turned to look at her and added, "If anyone wants to talk about bad judgment, I wouldn't have had a thing for you in the first place." Ava's face went white. Tears spilled out of her eyes right away. "How can you talk to me like that?" I didn't have the patience for her. I just looked down to see if Anna was okay. She was sobbing like a little cat who just lost its dinner. Without raising my head, I told Ava, "You should go back to campus. Not only are you hurting my girlfriend, but you're also making her doubt herself even more." Taking the look of shock on Ava's face, I added, "Don't come back. If you pull something like this again, I'll go talk to your father." Ava wobbled away that evening. I took Anna back to her building. She was cracking jokes with me, like usual, saying how tomorrow's supposed to have great weather and that she wanted to ride the Ferris wheel with me and that the stars would look beautiful at night, just right for the view. But the next afternoon, My mom called out of the blue. She sounded worried. Ava told me she saw Anna holding on to some boy. What's really happening with you two? When my mom asked me that, I felt a wave of irritation, annoyed at Ava for twisting the story and annoyed at her for meddling again. That frustration stuck with me for the whole day, right up until the Ferris wheel hit the top. Anna leaned over to kiss me, and I pulled away without thinking because my head was a mess. When I snapped out of it, Anna was staring at me, her eyes glistening under the lights with tears she was holding back. Didn't even get the chance to say sorry before she said, "James, are you going through something? Let's just take a few days. I'll be here." Her, who was always laughing and joking, I actually made her cry. The guilt sat so heavy on my chest. She was already hurting, but on the walk back, she still wouldn't let go of my hand. When we got to her building, she looked down and seemed completely drained. "James, the presents I give you, they're the same things I want for myself." After she walked away, her words kept replaying in my mind on weekends. We usually spent all our time together, but that day, she went to the lab by herself. I was just walking around aimlessly when I somehow found myself in a bookstore, which was unusual for me. As I was paying, I felt like someone was watching me. I looked up and saw a guy I'd never met before. He was holding a book too and came over to me. I gave him a polite smile, and he said, "I know who you are." I was confused. I had definitely never seen him before. He smiled back from Anna's Facebook. He pointed over to the counter. I used to have a thing for Anna. When he saw the look on my face, he said, "Relax, it was just a crush, and I never won her over. I just wanted to tell you something." And then he told me everything slowly. They had been in the same class in high school. Anna was pretty, and she got great grades. Everyone at school knew who she was, and he was the typical golden boy. Everyone back then thought they'd be perfect together. So they kept pushing him to ask her out. Carried away by all the hype, he actually started falling for Anna until one day after class at dusk, he got up the nerve to tell her how he felt, but he never expected Anna turn him down. Very seriously, she told him, "You can't date someone just because other people think you should if you really care about someone. You have to know what you actually want." Then later, he found someone he genuinely loved, and only then did he understand what Anna really meant. He admitted that in hindsight, he hadn't truly loved Anna at all. He had just let everyone else's opinions carry him along, thinking it would be impressive to go out with someone so well known. He glanced at me when he said that, and Anna never breathed a word about it to anyone. She always kept my dignity intact. But I see you on her feed all the time. Anyone who knows her gets it. For her to care about someone this deeply, that person has to be good. When he left, I went to Anna's page. Her cover photo was the two of us at the shore. Everything she posted was public. When I scrolled back, I saw before we got together, she only posted little bits of her regular life, but from last year on, every post had something about me in it. A picture of my side profile, a shot of me falling asleep in the library. All of Anna's friends clearly knew who I was because she wrote in the captions, "James is always so busy with school, he forgets to eat. So I have to be the one to bring him meals." No wonder my roommates kept telling me everyone already knew I was the person Anna always mentioned. I opened my own page. Those sad few updates were all just reposts for club requirements. Nothing about Anna anywhere. No wonder Ava got the impression that I didn't care about Anna. Thinking about how hurt Anna seemed the day before it finally started to click for me. I call my mother. "Have I ever really sat down and told you about her?" It was loud on her end. She must have been playing mahjong, but what she said back still got to me. "You've never told me anything. All you did was suddenly say you had a girlfriend around the holidays. James, take some advice from your mom. You need to be careful who you choose." Didn't Ava say last time she saw your girlfriend hanging off some other guy? I stopped her right there. "That's her cousin." "Stop buying into everything Ava says." She paused on the line. "So what's she like then?" I said without hesitation. "She's wonderful." She was quiet for a second, then sighed. "James, I know you inside and out. The more you feel inside, the less you show on the outside. You calling me like this almost certainly means you're in a fight. You've always been bad at saying how you feel, but being in a relationship means learning to open your mouth." Then, in the middle of talking, she shouted, "I win. I win. Everyone pay up." And then she hung up with a click, leaving me just staring at the screen. I had always believed that loving someone was just between the two of us. No need to shout it from the rooftops, and it never forced me to put up couple photos or cared whether we went public. She had always been that way, giving me everything she had, but hardly ever asked for anything back. But only now did I understand that while she was loving me with everything she had, I hadn't made her feel safe. And on top of that, Ava kept inserting herself, which only made her existing fears worse. I knew for sure that I had to sit down and really talk to Anna. But before I even went to look for Anna, Ava caught me. First, she was actually staking out the bottom of my building. I was a bit surprised. She looked up and said, "I need to talk." That's when it hit me. It was time to set the record straight with her. She wouldn't stop meddling, and it was only making Anna more anxious. So I said yes, but before I left, I texted Anna, "Ava, want to meet up? I'll be back quick." I figured this was probably the first time I actually thought about how she might feel. We went to a Chinese place by the back gate. Even though I knew Ava couldn't eat spicy food, I ordered a bunch of really spicy dishes anyway. "I don't eat spicy food." She complained with a frown. "Then get yourself something else." I said evenly. I could see the hurt flash in her eyes. "You never spoke to me like this before." Younger me might have worried about her feelings, but this time I wasn't giving in. "There's one more thing we need to clear up." You go to my mother saying Anna was hanging on another guy. "What about that?" "That depends on whether it's actually a lie." "How do you know he's actually her cousin? You don't know her family." She fired back. I answered coldly, "Do I look like a fool?" "Pretty much." She said without thinking, "You've always been clueless." I let out a sarcastic laugh. "So you're saying you're the only smart one and everyone else is an idiot?" Ava finally caught herself and stuttered out an excuse. "That's not what I meant. I just don't want you to get played. Just take care of yourself. I don't need your protection." She tried to catch my sleeve. I pulled away. "Why does it have to be her? Isn't it better with someone you've known your whole life?" Her meaning was painfully clear. My hands balled in a fist. Without thinking, "Do you hear yourself? Right now I know. I'm on my mind." Her emotions just spilled out. "From the day I got together with Ethan, I've regretted it the whole time. When I was with Ethan, all I could think about was you. It was always you. I was just so mad that day, sick of my mom and everyone always teasing me about you." She finally let it all out. So that line about childhood sweethearts losing to fate made it clear who Ethan was talking about. Remembering what Ethan had posted, it just made me more tired of Ava. "If you didn't like Ethan, then why did you say yes?" "Ethan used to tell me all the time, James, I've always respected you. You're a decent guy and you're sharp, but as long as Ava isn't taken, going after her against you is fair game." I can still see how brightly he smiled. He chased her for 3 years, and they only lasted 2 months. "Some fair competition. That was." Ava went on. "Can we try again? Do you really not care about me at all anymore?" Before I could answer, a loud slap of cards came from the next table. "Bomb. Are you bombing or not?" Ava scowled. I told her, "If you actually had feelings for me, you never would have humiliated me like you did. All you ever cared about was yourself, tossing me your leftover feelings like spare change. That's not love." Her eyes welled up again. She started to argue, and the same voice rang out again. "Don't try to get out of it." It got quiet for a moment. Then she murmured, "Either way, I'll be here waiting." And then the same person shouted, "Come on. We'll all be dead by the time you decide." I got up and walked directly over to the next booth. There was a girl curled up on the couch, watching a poker stream on her phone. My shadow fell over her, and she looked up with this guilty look on her face. It was Anna. Anna and I walked back toward the dorms together. I asked her, "You were really into that poker game?" How she pouted. "That's what she gets for trying to steal my boyfriend." I laughed. Who said she had a chance anyway? Anna grumbled. "The books all say that in these cheesy moments, guys get weak." I put my hand out. "What book?" Anna's face went beet red. She handed over her phone reluctantly. There was a text file open on it with a title that could not have been more obvious: "Defeat the Childhood Sweetheart." And when the popular boyfriend, I laughed out loud, "This is your study material. You should show this to your professor." She grabbed her phone back. "Come on. Don't be mean. I have a reputation to keep with my advisor in the lab." The older students only saw the polite, distant version of Anna, but with me, she was like a puppy, wagging its tail, completely clingy. Only I knew how much she needed attention. How good she was at being sweet. She was quiet for a moment, then said, "I'm just a little scared. The book says you need to play a few small tricks to show you how much I mean to you. But what if I take it too far and you actually walk away?" She looked down and whispered, "I'm sorry for listening in on you too." I reached over and touched her cheek. My fingertips came away wet with her tears. And in that second, all I felt was guilt. I pulled in a close. "You don't need any games. I'll still love you." Anna went still, curled against me. Without moving, I whispered in her ear, "Anna, I'm sorry. I never showed you how much I care." After that, I did what she had done and changed my cover photo to a photo of the two of us and made a point of introducing her to everyone I knew. From that point, everyone knew Anna was the one who mattered most to me. I slowly learned to be like her and actually say how I felt, no longer thinking that telling everyone we were together was something to be ashamed of. One time, I used Anna's phone to sign up for something. She didn't even think about it and just Handed it over a little later, a string of messages came through from a contact saved as Ava. I got curious and opened a conversation. Ava had sent Anna more than 10 old pictures. All of them were shots of the two of us from back in the day. Anna sent back just one selfie of her curled up against me. And then Ava unloaded a chaotic wave of emotions, message after message of her cursing Anna out. Anna replied with, "It's not my fault. You couldn't hold on to James. You always act like you're." Bad behavior is something he just has to put up with, assuming he would never walk away just because you grew up together. But Ava, no one in this world is irreplaceable. James deserves someone better. Ava took a long time to answer. "You don't know anything. We've been together since we were kids. What we have is deeper than anything you could understand." Anna shot back immediately, "If all it took was time to make love, then you should marry the planet since you've been together since birth." And then, like she saw her chance, she added, "Goodbye. Little Annie makes sure to give us a big wedding gift when the time comes." Ava just sent back a sour face emoji and then blocked her. I never posted much on Facebook, but on the day I graduated, I broke my own rule and put something up. June isn't just about caps and gowns. It's also about my bride. With a picture of me in my gown and a photo of our marriage license, almost everyone from high school hit, like a lot of them commented, saying they always knew I went all out. Ava was the first one to open it a few seconds later. Her picture went dark now about the proposal. As it happened, it turned into a completely accidental comedy. Anna and I somehow had the exact same thought without planning it at the same spot. At the same moment, we both pulled out rings at that same amusement park where we first said we liked each other. We stared at each other's rings, completely frozen in the same exact way. Then we both cracked up and squeezed each other as hard as we could. And just like that, we put the rings on each other's hands on the spot later. Both families had dinner together to meet. Anna's mom was from Chicago. She had a sharp, direct personality and didn't stop talking, saying someone like Anna needed a steady guy to balance her out, to keep her grounded. When we got back to the hotel, my mom took me aside. Anna's a good one. You treat her well. You hear me? I laughed. You're already sure after just one meeting? She said, you can tell by looking at her mom and dad. Her father couldn't take his eyes off her mother. Her mom might be a little intense, but when she talks to her husband, she turned back into a teenager. That's what a real connection looks like. A kid raised in a home like that just knows how to love naturally. And I can tell she's already taught you a lot about how to open up. I remembered all the times I held back from Anna and felt a pang of guilt. Then there was a knock at the door. James. I bought a ton of sparklers come out and play. I opened it, and Anna was standing there, smiling like sunlight. I held her hand and suddenly felt like I could still make up for everything. I saw Ava again on the day of mine and Anna's wedding. I was backstage straightening my jacket when she appeared behind me. I didn't say anything. I just waited for her. She didn't offer any explanation. She just took a red envelope from her pocket and held it up. "This is your wedding gift, or actually, you could just come with me." Instead, she looked up, and there was a flicker of hope in her voice under her gaze that seemed to demand an answer. I took the envelope and said, "Then thanks for the gift for your little nephew. When he's older, he'll appreciate this." Ava's eyes went wide. "Anna's pregnant?" I smiled, nodded. "That's right. Ava, you're about to become a little Annie." She was silent for a while, then said softly, "Have you ever considered, what if Anna falls out of love with you someday? Are you really ready to get married?" The funny thing is I've always been someone who doesn't say much. In high school, when I saw those wedding proposals on TV, I always wondered how they could stand saying all that sappy stuff. Weren't they uncomfortable? But when it was my turn, I didn't hesitate. Pray. Second, I just held up the ring and said something that felt completely natural to me. "Anna, will you marry me today?" Facing Ava's question now, I looked her in the eye and said, "Ava, you have it backwards. Love isn't just about perseverance. It's falling for the same person again and again. Every time I see her running to meet me outside the library, every time she looks at me like I'm the only one in the world, every time she writes about her life together, I fall for her all over again. Just the look she gives me is enough to make me love her even more." That was when I really understood what kind of courage comes from a healthy relationship. I looked over at the edge of the wedding dress showing behind the door and smiled. Every single day I get to be with her is a bonus gift from fate. As long as what I have right here is real, no matter how uncertain tomorrow is, I'll take it all on with her. With you. I wouldn't say I got lucky, but with her I've already won you, and I could never quite get on the same page. But I got lucky, and it showed me bit by bit how to say I love you and how to prove it. She finally stepped out from behind the door, her face flushed like she had just stepped out of sauna, and reached out. I took the flowers from her, turned and handed handed them to Ava, the woman I'm meant to be with is already here. Ava, I hope you find your own happiness. As I passed her, I said something under mine. Breath tried to speak a little more gently from now on. Ava behind me, she said back, just as quietly, there won't be anyone else. I didn't turn around after the ceremony. My mom told me Ava had flown overseas that afternoon. Her parents were furious every now and then. She'd text me from overseas, just simple check-ins, nothing that overstepped. She still hadn't let go of the past. But her pain wasn't my burden to carry anymore. Whenever she messaged me, I'd show Anna and let her guess who it was from. She'd pout and act like it didn't matter, then huff and burrow into me, pouting the whole time. She was there one day. I borrowed Anna's laptop for some work and happened to see a folder on her desktop. I was curious, so I opened it. It was full of our pictures and short videos. I clicked on the first one and found a clip I had never seen in it. Anna was holding her puppy, looking a little down my little prince. This job is all yours. She squeezed the puppy's head and added, when you see that upperclassman with all the books, go over and get cozy with him. You finish the job. You get a treat. While she was talking, a guy walked into the shot carrying a pile of books right in front of the lens. It was me. As a sophomore, she gave the puppy a little push, whispering to it, go on. Go make a move, make sure you nuzzle him for good. While the puppy still wasn't sure, and I had to nudge it toward me, coaxing it softly. Just go already. If you pull this off, you'll finally have a father. Love is about giving to each other, not draining one person dry. Don't mistake time spent together for a reason to put up with being hurt. What time really creates is rarely love. More often, it's just habit. Walk away from someone who makes you feel small and tells you to grow up. Run toward the person who keeps finding ways to reach you and makes you feel alive again. The best way to live isn't to keep settling for an old story. It's to find yourself again in the eyes of someone who truly sees you.